Welcome to the Miami Herald's High School Gridiron Report. I'm Manny, Navarro.
And I'm Fernandez.
Drake, can we get round 2 of Northwestern Central this week?
Not quite yet, but I don't think you can erase the memory of Miami FSU quite yet, can you?
Nope.
No, let's rewind.
Miami Hurricanes weren't much of a match for the Florida State Seminoles on Saturday night, but maybe when Northwestern's Teddy Bridgewater gets there, things will get a little bit better. The Bulls quarterback put together a great fourth quarter Friday night against Central. Ran, he passed, he did it all, finishing with 261 yards passing, a TD pass, 2 touchdown runs, but it wasn't enough against the Rockets, who rode the legs of tailback Devontae Freeman. The future FSU Seminole finished with 226 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Freeman even played a little defense at the end of the game when Bridgewater took his final shot at the end zone. Central's Charles Gaines was there to bat the final pass away as Central prevailed 25-22. Great game, Dre.
Fantastic ball game between two of the best teams in the state. They came in ranked number 1 and 2 as they should be. It looks like Northwestern's got a tough challenge this week, but if they get through it, we're going to see a round 2 right after Thanksgiving weekend, probably.
After dropping their second game of the season last week to Hollandale, the Miramar Patriots were looking for a little redemption this week, and they made district rival South Plantation pay. On the third play from scrimmage, Shaquille Keir sets the tone, bursting for this 65-yard touchdown run. It was only the beginning. Quarterback Devontae Mathis, starting in place of Cameron Hudge, who sustained a concussion 2 weeks ago, also had a big day passing. He finds Sean McVay for a 6-yard TD pass, finishing with 185 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. The challenge gets much tougher this week, though, against St. Thomas Aquinas.
Absolutely. I mean, St. Thomas has dealt them some pretty severe losses in the last couple of years, and probably won't be any different. We'll get to that later, but I like the move to Mathis at quarterback. It's not anything against Hudge, but I think it's maybe a spark Miramar needed to get back on track.
Homestead and Southridge hooked up at Harris Field last Thursday, knowing the loser of the game could potentially find themselves out of the playoffs. And after a 20-0 loss to South Dade 2 weeks ago, it was Southridge who showed up with a little more urgency. Behind a stout defensive effort led by Desmond Holland, Southridge forced 3 turnovers and only allowed Homestead 62 yards of offense in a 13-0 win. Andrew Johnson had the big play of the game when he returned a punt 70 yards for a touchdown. Dre, from what you saw, does this Homestead team look like it'll give South Dade much of a matchup at the end of the regular season?
Only if they get some offense going, which was non-existent against the Ridge. A lot of that was the Ridge's defense, but at the same time, Homestead has to use their playmakers more to their ability to be able to have a chance. And here's Andrew Johnson and what he said after the big win for the Ridge.
We know once we get lost against South Dade, we're going to need this victory real bad. We've been practicing all week, getting ready for Homestead. We went over all their plays. We watched film all day, every day. We just knew we needed this win to get back in run for the playoffs, and that's what we did.
Did you know you could shut them down like this and just leave them at 0?
Oh, yes. We know we can shut any offense down in the county right now. Our defense just got to come together. We got to play as a team, and we do what we do best, and that's lock people down.
Northwestern and Central wasn't the only nail-biter this weekend. Braddock and Ferguson played 1-2 Saturday night at Tropical Park. And my Bulldogs, that's right, I'm a Braddock grad, eventually pulled it out 48-47, but it wasn't easy. Ferguson rallied from a 26-7 deficit and pulled to within 48-47. With 30 seconds to play, Stephen Brady scored on a 3-yard touchdown run. Ferguson coach Gene Chu decided, hey, let's go for 2. The Braddock defense showed up and stopped him. Freddie Semino and Carl Bohannon hooked up 3 times for TDs in this game for Braddock. Dre, are my Bulldogs for real?
95 combined points? When did that ever happen to Braddock and Ferguson? I mean, when did they start scoring at will like that?
We found some offense.
Yeah, it looks like they did. If they keep it going, I think they have a chance to win that district.
All right, we've added a new segment to the show this week. Call it the Hurry Up. Time to zip through some highlights and scores. I'm going to start. Columbus might have been looking forward to their showdown this week with Northwestern, but Coral Gables had their full attention last Friday night at Tropical Park. Behind 2 rushing touchdowns from Colin Alford and this 42-yard interception return by Deion Bush, the Explorers rolled to a 37-0 win. Columbus has won 4 in a row versus the Cavaliers.
Coconut Creek trailed Coral Springs 10-3 at the start of the fourth quarter, but behind 152 yards rushing from Marquise White and this 48-yard punt return for a touchdown by Shabazz Washington, the Cougars rallied for a 17-10 win over the Colts in a crucial District 15 5A showdown. Coconut Creek is now 3-2.
Hollywood Hills was looking for its first win this week against Piper, and they got it. Thanks to 182 yards and 3 touchdown runs from Jeremy Donaldson, including these 2 in the fourth quarter, the Spartans rallied from a 14-7 halftime deficit and prevailed over the Bengals 28-16.
The wing T offense has been known to help teams put up some big numbers on the ground, and HML was no exception on Wednesday night as it racked up 328 rushing yards in a 27-20 win over district foe Miami Springs at Ted Hendricks Stadium. Hakeem Lawrence opened the game with an 80-yard touchdown run and finished with this 42-yard scamper as the Trojans moved to 4-2.
You like trick plays? I absolutely love them. American ran one against Crop last Thursday, the old halfback pass, when D'Angelo James connected with receiver Ricky Gutierrez for a 74-yard touchdown. Too bad that was all the offense the Patriots got as Crop pulled out a 14-6 victory. The Lightning are now 4-1.
Hialeah took the bus up to Memorial Stadium last Friday to face Miami Beach, and unfortunately for the High Tides, they didn't get lost because the T-Breads blocked the punt for a safety, scored on a 1-yard touchdown by Gary Vanderkoop, and jumped out to a 16-0 lead when Sony Sanan recovered a backward pass and ran it in. Hialeah rolled to a 23-8 win.
Southwest and Sunset were deadlocked at 7 in the fourth quarter until this play when Eagles quarterback Andrew Rodriguez finds Alan Anton on a 26-yard touchdown strike. The Eagles would hold on for a 14-7 win. Southwest is no longer winless, but Sunset still is.
And speaking of winless, how about some Edison Red Raiders highlights? The Red Raiders took on an angry Jackson team, and it wasn't pretty. Here you see Abe Coleman connected with Willie Quinn on an 82-yard touchdown pass. Jackson's defense also forced 6 fumbles and an interception while giving up only 27 total yards and 2 first downs. The Generals rolled 44-0.
How about the undefeated? How about Coral Park, who rolled to a 48-7 win over Reagan last Thursday? Quarterback Sterling Darling got the party started early with this 57-yard touchdown run. Gabriel Caballero would finish the spanking with this long touchdown run. The Rams are 5-0. They get unbeaten Braddock this week. All right, time for the top individual performers of the week. I'm going to start by giving some mad props to Calvary Christian's Javon Shashanti for becoming Broward's all-time leading passer, surpassing North Broward Prep's Dexter Davidson last week. Not only did Javon get the record, but he helped Calvary pull off a 28-27 win over Pope John Paul. Give me some more names, Dre.
Well, I'm starting with a quarterback, too. I'm going to go with Coral Reef's Matthias Carmar, who finished 17 of 23 passing for a career-high 314 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 48-7 victory over Killian. AJ Sebastiano from North Broward Prep had 11 catches for 238 yards and a touchdown, and he also returned the punt 60 yards for a score in a 28-23 loss to Pinecrest. And Drew Offerdahl, I think he's the son of John Offerdahl, former Dolphin, 8 rushes for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he had 10 tackles to lead Westminster Academy to a 29-6 win over Coral Springs Christian. And then there's Cypress Bay's Danny Epstein, who ran for 216 yards and 3 scores as the Lightning defeated visiting Flanagan 35-21 in a big district matchup Friday night. Miami High's Oscar Jimenez wasn't no slouch either. Recovered 2 fumbles, recorded a sack in the Stingeries' 26-3 win over South Miami. And Western quarterback Will Coyne completed 15 of 27 passes for 2 touchdowns in a 21-20 win over Plantation. Coyne scored in the final moments of the game and completed a 2-point conversion to tie the game at 14. Then in overtime, he connected with Adam Bruger for a 3-yard score. South Dade's Antoine Eddy had 2 interceptions as the Bucks held Palmetto to 19 yards rushing in a 21-7 win over the Panthers.
Time to fast forward and look ahead of the big matchups in Week 7. We start with the defending Class 6A state champions, Miramar, taking on St. Thomas Aquinas. Can the Patriots shock the Raiders Friday night?
I don't think they can. Too much firepower on St. Thomas, both sides of the ball. Miramar is still getting some of these young players into new roles and winning. They'll be fine down the road in their own bracket in 6A, but not in this matchup.
Aquinas rolls. Hey, Northwestern doesn't get any breaks this week. They get Columbus on ESPN Friday night at Travis Powell Stadium. Did the Explorers finally get the job done? Or is our Larry Bluestein right?
I think Larry's right about them being better, but not in this game. I think Teddy Bridgewater's too much. He showed it even against Central. You were right about that part of the game, and I think he's going to carry them to a victory on national TV. The Bulls are used to being on national TV.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater. Hollandale didn't look very impressive last week after their 30-28 win over Miramar. Can they regroup in time to beat Everglades Thursday night?
I think they can. I think it was a very odd to see them play that close of a game. I'm going to go with Hallandale. I think this is their kind of year that they rise to the occasion whenever they play a big-time team like another team like Everglades.
All right, I'm going with Everglades here because Matthew Vincent is too good. Last but not least, the Super Bowl, the Sawacera, undefeated Coral Park versus undefeated Braddock. Dre, did I just really say that?
Yeah, you did. And it shows you with the Braddock, huh? All right. I'm going to have to disappoint you a little bit, though, because the Rams have shown a lot of progress. And I think they take it to 6-0, but it's going to be a great game just like it was with Ferguson.
Braddock, baby. We're getting it done this week.
All right, bro. Settle down. Time to say goodbye.
Braddock.
See you next week.
Braddock.